I'm just going to introduce this. We had an idea a while ago that it might be nice to recognize what people are doing at Wetland Centres. We have a big range of WELI members already who already feature on our website and have this, this membership of the wider Wetland Link International Network. But working with a small group of international folks, we decided it might be helpful to have something that really helped encourage, recognize, and really bring a focus on wetland centres that were really doing great stuff. We know that lots of people are doing really interesting things, and we also know that in certain countries, you know, we have these accreditation awards which show people best practice at wetland centres, but at other places too. So we wanted to develop something which was similar. What we did was we worked together with a group of people from wetland centres across the world. So we have a panel of people who helped us to put this together, and they are from every continent, and also working with the Ramsar Regional Centre East Asia as well, who run the WELI Asia network. So we think we have, you know, a good group of people that could really advise and really help us to move this on. They know wetland centres very well. And they know how they work. So what the scheme is aiming to do is firstly to recognize talent. So what we want to do is really encourage people to apply for this thing, show us what they're doing, give us examples of how they're delivering great CEPA, so communication, education, participation, and awareness at wetland sites. And we can then use that to award them with these STAR awards to show people what they're up to. We think it will provide visibility here. So again, when people come to your wetland centre, they'll see that you have this award and they'll ask what it is. And, you know, this will be a good way of showing what you're up to. You can use it as part of your promotional materials and on your website, etc. And we can also use it as part of the WELI website. So again, that will bring a focus on those people that are doing really good stuff. We also think that it will act as a kind of standard, a certain recognition that will attract partners and possibly funding. So if you can show that you're within these really great set of centres that are delivering stuff, we think it will help you find partners. We think that, you know, you'll be able to use that in funding applications or when you're looking for resources as well. We'd like to think that it will support improvement. So again, if you come in and you get like the lower level of the STAR, you can apply again. And maybe improve what you're doing when you go up to the silver or the gold STAR awards. So this will encourage people, I think, to improve what they're up to. And you will get feedback from these applications to show where maybe you could do better in some areas if that's relevant. And we think it will help to allow independent assessment as well. We'll provide this list of criteria which kind of people can use to monitor their wetland centres. So even if you don't apply for it necessarily, you will still be able to use those criteria to help you think about what your wetland centre is doing and maybe where there are things that you could improve. So let's have a quick look at the different petals or points of the STAR. The STAR was produced by our colleague Amy Lecciones and her partners, or her team rather, at the Society for the Protection of Philippine Wetlands, for the conservation of Philippine wetlands. So they came up with a really nice idea using all of the different kind of wetland representatives. So you can see the reed that makes up the points, and within each of the separate points, you can see a different image. So each of those are kind of what we're likely to be monitoring people on. We think that we're going to be very definitely focusing on people and CEPA. So the little image with the ring of people, we definitely want to know what you're doing in terms of how you engage people, how you deliver education programs, and how you work with local stakeholders as well. So this is a really central part of what we hope a wetland centre will do. Most wetland centres, again, have an element of biodiversity and ecosystem. So how you go out there and manage those wetlands, how you're making sure that you monitor the species that visit those wetlands as well is an important aspect. The built environment, we shouldn't forget that. So the built environment, again, Most people have wetland centres, or they have boardwalks or hides. We're not expecting that people will have huge wetland centres. We want this to be open even to very small wetland centres that maybe don't have much of a building. So you don't have to show that you have a massive building with restaurants and shops and everything, but you do have to show that what you have, you're doing well. And finally, the monitoring and research. We do hope that in most cases, people will be doing some aspect of monitoring, and that can include something like citizen science, or it could include something much more specific or science-based as well. So again, all of those things combined together, we think is what makes a really good wetland centre. But as I say, each wetland centre is different, and they will include different criteria depending on what they're doing. So we worked with our panel of experts to put all of this together, had lots of discussions about which of these things were most important. And we did think that this idea of a ranking of bronze, silver, and gold would be really helpful in terms of just encouraging people to seek improvement, but also to really recognize the people that are doing great stuff at wetland centres. We're planning on delivering 12 of these during the pilot phase. So as Connor said, we'll launch this on World Wetlands Day next year. And what we're aiming to do is pick 2 wetland centres pretty much per Ramsar region. Then after that, what we'll do is hopefully invite some folks along to the next Ramsar conference of the parties and have a big launch then. And what we've learned from this pilot phase, we will then use to create a longer term focus. So hopefully we will open the launch the whole thing on World Wetlands Day. We'll have a couple of months for people to apply, and then we will be announcing some of the results, at least definitely to the winners kind of mid-year, and then doing a big launch and a celebration around the time of the Ramsar COP. But ultimately we hope that this is something that will be ongoing and will form kind of a long-term tool for WELI and for wetland centres that belong to us. People that apply will need to be WELI members to start with. So this again will be an encouragement, I guess, to get more people joining WELI and playing an active role. So how will you be able to apply? We are making this an online application form. It's quite rigorous. So we've included quite a few questions on various different elements, and we are asking people if they will be prepared to upload either short videos or documents or pictures to demonstrate what they're doing, first of all, but also to share with us the good practice that they're doing. So we really want to know what they're up to and to see that and to share that with other people as well. As I mentioned, we don't just want to be focusing on the massive centres which have huge resources. We are also open to smaller centres that maybe have very minimal infrastructure and relatively low numbers of people visiting, because we still see that there is merit in what they're doing, and we want to celebrate that too. And finally, it will be available in the key Ramsar languages, so French, English, and Spanish. Ultimately, I guess we would like to do it in more languages, but we need to kind of work within the resources we have. And within our panel, we have enough people that speak those languages that we're going to be able to do a good job of selecting some of those winners. So that is the Star Wetland Centre Award. We do want to know what you think. This is, as I said, a pilot phase. So to some extent, we can still change it. We can still modify what we're doing. So if you have any questions, and we can probably come to those later, Connor, I guess, then we would very much welcome your input at this stage. It's still time for people to be able to have some input. Connor, did I miss anything? Was that okay?
That was terrifically comprehensive, Chris. Thank you. Yeah, we're looking forward to WELI members today saying what you think about this, giving your suggestions. And I was in on most of the panel meetings on it for this, and it was a real symbol of WELI in that we had people at 5 a.m. and 10 o'clock at night taking part in these meetings, this real global panels of people. It was really good. Thank you very much, Chris.